Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be naming acids. This is the very last thing on our naming unit. The way that you can tell if something is an acid is generally it starts with hydrogen as the cation. Acids are divided into two groups, binary acids and oxyacids. Binary acids contain only two elements, where oxyacids contain hydrogen, oxygen, and then a nonmetal. Naming binary acids. So first we're going to talk about just binary. The name of the binary acid consists of two words. The first word has three parts: hydro, the root of the nonmetal element, and then it ends in IC. The second word is always acid. Here are some examples. First example is HCl. So we start with the word hydro, identify the nonmetal as chlorine. We are going to write it, but replace the ending with IC. And then our second word is acid. So HCl is named hydrochloric acid. Next, we have HBr. So again, we start with the word hydro, identify the nonmetal as bromine, and change the ending to IC. Then we write the word acid, hydrobromic acid. To name oxyacids, they're more difficult. So these are more difficult to name because these acids have a hydrogen, a nonmetal, and may have varying numbers of oxygen atoms. For example, H2SO4 and H2SO3 are both acids. How do we name them? To begin, we need a point of reference. Our point of reference is our polyatomic ion sheet. So make sure you have your polyatomic ion sheet out. Okay? If the polyatomic ion ends in 8, for example, sulfate and nitrate, these make IC at the end and then the word acid. So our first example is SO4. When we look at SO4, it is sulfate. So we take this sulf, and we know that that's sulfur. So this is sulfuric acid. Okay. NO3 is nitrate if we look on our polyatomic ion list. So it is nitric acid. If the polyatomic ions ends in the word ITE, we change the ending to OUS. So SO3 is sulfite. So we change this to sulfurous acid. NO2 is nitrite. So the acid is named nitrous acid. Now we're going to do some practice. So again, remember, if it's binary, it starts with hydro. If it's more than one element, more than two elements, we have to look on our polyatomic ion sheet and name it from the polyatomic ion. So our first one is binary. Okay. So it gets hydro. This F is for fluorine. So we write fluor, change the ending to IC, and then acid. So HF is hydrofluoric acid. Our next one is an oxyacid. So we need to know what this polyatomic ion is. It is acetate. So it ends in ATE, meaning our new ending is going to be IC. So this is acetic acid. Next, we have H3PO4. More than two elements there. So this is another oxyacid. So we look at PO3 and we figure out what polyatomic ion that is. It is phosphite. So the ITE makes our new ending OUS. So this is phosphorus acid. Okay. Last example on this page. More than two elements here. So we need to figure out what PO4 is. PO4 is phosphate. So our new ending ends in IC. So this is phosphoric acid. Now to go from the name to the compound formula, we have hydrosulfuric acid. So because it starts with hydro, I know it is binary and only has two elements. My first one is H, and its charge is +1. My second one is sulfuric, so sulfur. If I look on the periodic table, sulfur is -2. So I need to cross those charges down. And my compound formula for hydrosulfuric acid is H2S. Next, we have chloric acid. The IC means that whatever our polyatomic ion is, it has ATE as the end. And we know that it starts with chlorine because of the chlor. So when I look on my polyatomic ion sheet, I know that has to be ClO3. So again, I have H plus and then ClO3, which is -1. So those are going to cross down and cancel out. HClO3. Number 7 example, we have chlorous. So if it ends in OUS, I know my polyatomic ion had to go with ITE. So chlorite. So I have my H plus 1, and then chlorite is ClO2, and its charge is -1. I'm going to cross those down, HClO2. Last example from the name to the compound, hydroiodic acid. So hydro tells me that it is binary, which means it has two elements. One is H, which charge is +1. Iodic is iodine, whose charge is -1. Cross those down. My formula for hydroiodic acid is HI. That is all of your notes for today. Um, please make sure you go and you do the homework tomorrow. Have a good day.